Hey everybody, welcome to another Step Outside podcast. I have someone who is much more intelligent than I am. His name is Tony Kokolis. Joining us today on the podcast, the Big K. Hello mate, how are you, bud?
I'm exceptional, mate. Thanks for having me.
Mate, I've got to say to you there, Tone, you're from Oricom, which is Oricom International. Basically, you guys are communication specialists for off-road and on-road. Mate, a great time of the year to be involved in that because so many people are travelling around the country.
Mate, it is. It is a very exciting time. Restrictions are easing a little bit and people are getting out. And it's never been a better time to get around our country, mate. It's, we're all homegrown. We want to see our country and get out there and experience it. And, mate, communication is key when you're out on the road. So, yes, we are the specialists in that.
Tony, you also love fishing because, for me, I like talking to you about fishing, mate, because, it is one of those things that we all love to do on our favourite pastimes. So, we're going to break this little podcast up there to keep people interested in something they might like to hear, and that is, of course, fishing is our main or my main background. But for you, Definitely. You're that person that just, he doesn't have a job in fishing, because I talk to a lot of guys and girls out there who have a job in the marine fishing industry. You have a job in off-road, on-road communication, being Oricom, but you love fishing as a passion. So I do want to talk to you about that to start with. Mate,
sure.
Your favourite fishing background, what is it that you love to do? The bread and butter fish, offshore, game fishing, estuary? Talk to me.
There's not a great deal that I don't like, Paul, but honestly, my go-to is estuary fishing. So bream, flathead, mangrove jack. I love a bit of offshore fishing. I love a bit of bass fishing off a kayak. I have a boat. I have a kayak. I have friends with big boats, and I love all of it. But as I said, the main bread and butter for me is estuary fishing. I absolutely love it.
Mate, our bread and butter fish that we get around the country, of course, brim whiting, flathead. The brim are just about in any estuarine that has a tidal influence, and even some ponds that have been cut off by man-made locked canal systems. But, mate, what's your tip for people out there? Because I love to hear this from you, from a guy who just loves to go and wet a line whenever he wants to on his days off, and you want to catch a fish because, time is poor, right? Time is poor. So what is it you do when you go and chase brim? What are you looking for? Are you using baits? Are you using lures? What's the go, mate?
I use a bit of both. So I'll generally find and sound around, find some nice holes around some structure. I'll find some drop-offs on the banks. If I'm lucky enough to catch some live bait, I'll throw a live bait out or some nice fresh flesh bait. Yeah. As well as I'll use a range of lures, so from soft plastics to vibe to crab lures, to see what else is around the area, because they don't just always congregate in one spot. Some of the bigger fish will monitor around those holes and in the structures and get up nice and tight. So I like to spread it out and get a bit of a different range.
Mate, it's one of those things as well that if you're fishing in an area where there's a canal system, for example, is you might shy away from, say, the humble old yabby or prawn, and you might end up going to a chunk of cheese or a bit of steak. Have you used that before? Sure. Because, people out there on the canal houses, they finish their dinner and realistically, out goes a little bit of leftover chicken or steak and straight into the fish's mouth. And the brim know that. That's why they'll hang around in school in those particular regions.
Definitely. Chicken, and I've actually caught fish off pepperoni off pizza. I had a friend who used to live on the canals in around Coomera. Yeah. And some nights we'd be up till late and sitting in his pool, fishing from the pool because the pool was on the edge of the canal, and using bits of pepperoni from the pizza and catching brim. So, they're very opportunistic feeders. And I think the scent of different flavours and so forth tends to increase your abilities as well.
My wife had a Saratoga many years ago. And whenever you bought in the pizza box, a Saratoga would splash around and go absolutely nuts. It would go crazy because it knew it was going to get a slice of pepperoni, right? The Saratoga would go nuts. And when you gave it the pepperoni, a slice of pepperoni off the pizza, he just chilled out and just swam around with because a Saratoga is born with a smile on its face because it's the way its jawline is, It's a happy fish.
Beautiful fish.
It's a very happy fish, And so you give it a little bit of pepperoni and away he goes. Mate, when you're using lures for your brim, what sort of lures do you like to run?
A lot of times soft plastic and vibes. The soft plastic with a nice big tail, try and match the hatch in the area, the right colours, different times of the day is a big thing. And also an advice, particularly in your drop off around the jumping pin area. There's a lot of big sandbanks with drop offs in the vibes. You can hop them off from a metre of water down to 4 metres of water and really extend your range and get the fish excited. And the bycatch is also very exciting from time to time as well. I tend to get a lot of pike as well. Let's tell pike from the vibe. It's a lot of fun. They're not much good for besides strip bait or smoking, but it's a lot of fun. So you can really change it up and get a variety of different types of fish, and to understand what the fish, the brim are biting on as well. If they're not interested in the fresh or live bait, then 9 times out of 10 they're ready to take a vibe or a soft plastic. So squidgies, Z-Man, things like that are my go-to.
And one other thing that I like about the vibes there too, Tone, is the Eco Gear ZX35. So they are a killer on all kinds of fish, and of course your TN60s if you're going for your larger fish species of your brim, up in that sort of high 30s, early 40s, they tend to just crush those things. Yeah, they're a great lure. You can also troll those too. You can jump down to your local Anaconda store and grab all of those lures that we mentioned on our podcast, mate. When it comes to flathead, talk to me about flatties, because flathead it's a fish that you love to catch, you love to eat, but they can be quite particular at times. They love a different tidal flow. What do you use for your flatties?
Mate, I 99% exclusively use soft plastics for flathead. You can, like you said, they're very, very elusive. They're very spooky. You can change up your style of fishing from deep water to shallow, slow hops to fast retrieves to just every different style. So for me, soft plastics is the way to go. So again, Z-Mans, gulps and so forth. You can change your head size. So that's what I love so much about flathead fishing. It could be one particular lure and, head size for one day, and then the next day, or even hours later on different tidal flow, they can be completely different and change colour and size and technique as well.
Mate, it is. And, I do like using the live baits for your flathead, particularly if you know there's a ball of herring that's schooling up under a bridge or around a canal entrance or anything like that. You know that even the shags, when they're moving through and you see all the bait fish being popped up, the flathead are going to be following them quite closely. One of the other things that I like to do if you've never done it, because you do like getting out there into the estuaries with the flatties, have you ever targeted them behind a stingray? Have you ever seen when the stingray gets into the shallows and smokes up a lot of the sand because they're sucking up the yabbies, to actually have a crack at them under the flathead behind the stingray? A lot of people don't do it, but it's quite, it works really well.
I have seen them from time to time, mate, and that's what I love so much about the flathead fishing for me. And the soft plastics, it's a hunt. You're really looking through the water and finding them and stalking them. But it's never happened yet, but I'm sure it will eventually.
Yeah, mate, always does. Mate, another one that I know that is a good pastime by many anglers on sort of subtropical, tropical areas of Australia is mangrove jack.
So much fun.
How's that go for you?
Yeah, mate, it's a real game changer, that one. It's it's hot, steamy night, afternoons, and early morning. I love using topwater lures like poppers and stickbait, right up tight in hard structure. I've seen mangrove jacks, the water chasing leaps that have fallen off trees.
Yeah, and that's right. They'll hang anywhere where there's some sort of movement in the trees that's coming down. And so the bass bug night walkers, that's something you'd use, I'd imagine, if you're talking about trees and limbs and all that sort of stuff hanging over the edges of a water thoroughfare.
A lot of areas, overhanging trees and so forth, you'll find hard structure. I'll walk those little night walkers in a slow, and sometimes when it just lands good in the water, you let it sit for 4 or 5 seconds, and all of a sudden, kaboom! They've just seen the ripples, and the slightest twitch, and they're all over it, and it's just exhilarating.
Yeah, oh mate, and it is. They're such an amazingly powerful fish, but at the same time, it's sensational to look at, take a photograph at, and for me, even better, on the table. They are a beautiful eating fish, the mangrove jacks. A lot of prawns around the East Coast at the moment as well, mate. Is that something you'd like to get into, the banana prawns?
I do, mate, and there's nothing better than a good feed of prawns and a beer in the afternoon on a Sunday after a hard day. But, look, I exclusively always generally use pro throat net, and I love them. They're easy to cast. I'm still learning. I'm getting better at it. From time to time, we get a map of Tassie, as we call it, or when you throw a good one, we call it Australia because it opens up nicely. But it's a great pastime. It's good camaraderie sometimes when you're out in the water and you see 50 boats out there and everyone's catching a feed and having a good time. It's a good feeling to know that you can go and catch a great feed of local seafood and enjoy it and not proliferate our...
Yeah, exactly. And I know on our episode 3, because we've started back on air yesterday, 21st. Perfect. Yes, so we got it back on air for 7 Mates for 39 episodes, everybody. Check it out. It's been seen 3 times every weekend. It's going to be aired 3 times every weekend. So looking forward to, the next 38 episodes. One's down. We've got a lot more to film, everyone. But we are on number 3 targeting banana prawns. And mate, that is a lot of fun. But I was doing it off the jet ski, off the Sea-Doo, and that is even more awkward. So can you imagine casting a Pro Throw full-length chain bottom net, top pocket, off a ski? And, we're working on getting the map of Australia really opening up. But, we can do it. You just got to get your balance right and, put your calves against the seat really, really tight and hold on and away you go. A lot of people sort of discriminate a little bit, you're on a jet ski, you're a knob and all that sort of stuff. But reality is, you know what, you're out in the water, you're giving it a crack. And for me, that's all part of the parcel being in the marine.
Absolutely, mate. You're getting out there and enjoying it regardless of your transportation.
And I do know you went to the Tingalpa Anaconda Trade Night last week as well on Wednesday night. How was that? You had Gordon there, Gordon Triplett from Garmin and Drew Argos from Pro Throw. Mate, the boys did well. They know what they're talking about. Obviously, they're very good at what they do.
They're exceptional at what they do, mate. They gave me some great hints and tips. Bought myself a new Pro Throw as well, so now's the time to really get out there. But exceptional knowledge, and the way they deliver their information is perfect. The kids really got in on it. Everyone was, had a great night.
And Gordon did a cook-up, I believe. So he did his prawns, so that's a good thing. I know the boys are out there trying to get them on last Wednesday morning. They gave me the opportunity, the offer to come out with them, but I think it was going to be raining that morning, so we thought, no, we'll leave it alone. But anyway, that's all good. Hey, mate, lovely to chat to you when it comes to fishing because, again, you're just that bloke who has the time off from work, wanting to wet a line, and enjoys it and catches a few fish. So thanks for your time and tips on that. Now let's get into Oricom. Oricom is it's an international company that basically delivers off-road, on-road communication services to vehicles or anything along those lines, whether it's UHF, VHF, battery monitors, the list goes on. Talk to me about Oricom, mate. What's the difference? What's the benefit? Why should people go to Oricom? What is the go?
Well, first and foremost, we're 100% Australian owned.
Nice.
So we've been around since 2003. We're not just UHF, as you said, so we also do baby care products, VHF Marine.
Is that right? Baby care, like baby care monitors?
Yep, baby care monitors, breathing sense monitors, air purifiers, thermometers. The range is expanding, rapidly in that respect. But UHF is obviously our biggest part, mate. And like I said, we're Australian owned, been around since 2003. We've sold over 1 million units in that time.
Wow. We
build products designed and specified for the Australians. We listen to our consumers and we pride ourselves on quality engineering with functional and attractive design.
Unreal.
That's how we work.
I remember with our child, when our two boys were very young, we had the baby monitors, in the bedroom, probably Oricom, I don't know, back then. And, you'd hear them breathe, you could hear them or see them stirring. You always kept a close eye on them at the same time. And a lot of parents out there would know, the first couple of years of your life are basically sleepless. And then they just become restless and then they just become enjoyable, as one would say.
And then they don't want to communicate with you.
Then they don't want to. That's exactly right. Oh, they're good. My boys are great. Mate, so tell me, obviously off-road stuff. Now, a lot of people who are towing caravans, because there's no international travel at present, okay?
Correct.
So a lot of people are, they're grabbing their overseas fund money pool and they're putting it into caravans, tents, campers and all that sort of stuff, and they're going around the country or going interstate. Mate, obviously having a UHF, if you're going, say, from, call it Brisbane to Perth or Brisbane to Alice Springs, communication is key, particularly in areas where there's no 4 or 5G and you've got no mobile phone reception.
It is, exactly, mate. And even in areas where you do have phone reception, UHF communication is, in my experience, is key. You can communicate with trucks in front of you or they're coming up behind you. You can get road condition update. You can communicate with other users that are on the roads as well. A lot of caravans will put their little logo on the back, like Mum and Pa Channel 18. You can have a chat with them. Hey, look, where's a great time to overtake you and so forth. So in that respect, it's always a smart idea, particularly when you're driving on the blacktop, mate, to have a UHF for communication even to emergency services.
And that's the key to it as well, is communication to emergency services. And you do see at the back of caravans, you'll have, Bill and Ben, sorry about for that name, Bill and Ben, UHF 60, and you'll jump on, it'll have the CH there for the channel. So you jump on there and you say, hey, Bill or Ben, we want to overtake you, or how you going, where you been. So you can have a friendly chat because it is all about that camaraderie of being Aussie and having a chat to old Joe Blow around the corner or in front of you, on this case, when you're doing a 1,000K trek.
Exactly. And as I said, communication with truck, road work, wide load, emergency service. It could be that, it's been raining for 3 days and you're heading, inland through Mount Isa and you're not sure what the road conditions are. You see a big truck coming towards you. Hey, big rig, any idea I can get the road conditions? And these guys are great. They'll tell you, hey, don't go this way, take this road, follow me, it's flooded out there. If you see a bushfire, you can tune into the emergency service and they'll give you regular updates. As you said, as well as a great chat on the road with, you may be travelling in convoy or just meeting up with the local guy that's in front of you.
It is one of those things there that if you can talk to the truckies, but also be respectful of the truckies, because one thing I do know is that if you pull over in a truck stop and there's a smaller truck stop, they're not all big ones like you get on the M1 or the main Bruce Highway, the main highway around Australia, is generally if you're off out into the bush and there's a truck stop, it's only a small one maybe for one or two trucks. But if you get 2 or 3 caravans pulling in, then old mate truck, he can't get in. And, we've got to keep Australia rolling here. So that's the other thing as well as, communicate with them, but also respect that we need to allow them guys to pull into those areas that are actually built for them as well.
Exactly. And look, and to be honest, mate, those guys are bound by law to have rest stops at certain times. So you're right, it's communication. They're human beings just like you and me. They've got families, they love travelling. It's what they do for a job. Communication, giving them respect, mate. And I've got a lot of respect for those guys, and they've given me invaluable information over the years.
Yeah, that's it. So any truckie who's driving around Australia at the moment, blow your horn, give us a big toot.
Yep.
Step Outside podcast. Mate, talk to me about the UHF CB, the old CB.
The old CB radio has progressed, so much in advancement and technologies, mate. It's a bit different to what it used to be. They're all, speaker mic controlled. So our premium model, which we are just about to release April 1st, is the new DTX 4200X. It's a dual receive model. So it actually receives 2 channels at once. You can actively listen to 2 channels. You can have it on channel 40, which is the truckie channel, and channel 18, and you can listen to both at the same time. It'll actually receive 2 channels, and individually, you can hear them talk. So that's our premium model. It's dual speaker, has a speaker in the handpiece, and all the controls are on the handpiece. Beautiful big LCD display, and also an extra speaker in the module as well. So it's nice and loud, easy to use. It's all hideaway, so it looks nice and pretty. Yeah. And it's our premium model.
And of course, when everything's on the handset itself, it makes life a lot easier rather than sort of bending down and trying to get underneath the dash or the glove box and trying to do that sort of a way as well, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely. Ours is unique. We have a little jog wheel. So on the handpiece itself, you can press the jog wheel and you can actually scroll through to change the channel, your volume, and other features as well. So it's unique in the way its ergonomics is designed, that you're not specifically looking for a button or a channel button. It's nice, big user interface, and it's very easy. That's what I love most about our product, mate, is the jog wheel. It's very, very user-friendly.
Mate, when it comes to moving your vehicle around caravan parks, now I know this one for a fact, is that, because a lot of people are buying caravans, and if you've got a new caravan on order, you've been waiting 18 months for this caravan because it really has blown out on time frames, or if you're towing a boat, whatever it might be, and you're at a camping ground, okay, you've got your park, you've got your site, J12, okay, you're down at Woody Head, just north of Yamba, you got J12, and you go to reverse up, you've got on J11 a $400,000 motorhome, and on J13 you've got a tent. Now you need to reverse your caravan onto J12, onto that block nice and flat. The handheld units come in handy, don't they? Because you can have your partner, whoever it may be that you're with, out the back guiding you left and right, because you can see left and right, but you can't see how far back you're going, whether you're straight, to get right in onto that angle and actually reverse in correctly. Yeah,
it's an invaluable piece of equipment, mate. Like we have from our huge premium range of products, from 5-watt handhelds all the way down to little half-watters. A lot of our handheld units come in twin pack, from with rechargeable batteries all the way down to a little PMR 795 twin pack, which have a little handy LED light built in them as well. It's great for kids running around. But yes, essential for that backing up so you can have direct communication to let your partner know which way and how far and stop, forward, back and right. I've used them in the past, mate, and it's essential.
Mate, when you're talking 5 watters down to the half water, so 5 watters is going to give you a lot more benefit of range, is that right?
Correct, yeah. It's going to give you a lot more range, extended range. So 15, 20 kilometre range down to a half water, which will give you, 3 to 5 kilometre range. So depending on your application, we have from half waters to 1 to 2 to 5 waters.
And so that would be something like the UHF, it's the 5500, okay? So that one there, the 5 water, is that a larger aerial that you need to get that distance how does it work in the sense of line of sight? I mean, how are you communicating from one person, say from A to B, over a very vast distance? How's that working?
So with handhelds, generally it's generally line of sight. The nice thing about our particular model, the UHF 5500, as you mentioned, it does have an upgraded antenna. So you can actually unscrew the antenna that comes on the unit, and you can fit with a magnetic-based external antenna to give you even more range. But generally, it's line of sight in bushy areas when you're doing a winch or you're doing creek crossing or you're in convoy with your friends. You'll generally get good reception. You might get a little bit staticky when you're on the other side of the hill, but 9 times out of 10, that 5-watt just increases that reception bubble to really give you that range. And that's what it comes down to.
Mate, vehicle aerials antennas. Now, do you prefer to have one that's mounted on under the bonnet that just comes out the little clip up top, or do you prefer to have it hard mounted onto a major bull bar?
Well, I've got a Prado, so I have a bull bar, and I have twin antennas on my unit. So I run the UHF 182X, which is our twin antenna model. And a lot of people ask me, why do we have different sizes and different heights and different thickness of antennas? So a quick rundown is low dB or low gain antennas, for anywhere from 1 to 3.5 dB-ish, are great for hilly country terrains and around town where you've got a lot of built-up terrain around you, and the reception can be interfered with that. So low gain antennas give you a really strong reception bubble, but not in the greatest distance range. Right. Then you go up to 6.5 to 9 dB antennas, which are great for the open top. So when you're doing big highway drives, big open expanses, great line of sight will give you that long range distance, 50, 60 kilometre range. Right. So that's the difference with antennas. So with mine, I run twins, so I have the best of both worlds every time.
And because there's a lot of people out there who don't have a bull bar. They're going in their Fairlane or Fairmont or a Kluger or whatever it might be, and they don't have the big bull bar on the front there. So that it's not really a necessity to have the bull bar mount. Is that right?
Of course, yeah. Of course we have. We've got brackets that are bonnet or boot mounted as well. So you can have it on the booty vehicle, under the bonnet of the vehicle. So you're right. There's not a necessity to have a great big bull bar or nudge bar on the front of your car. And we even have, we have magnetic-based antennas as well, which are magnetic-based, stick on the top of the roof, run the cable through the car, and you can have a plug-and-play, which mounts with a suction cup bracket to the inside of the vehicle on the glass. Cigarette lighter powered, plug-and-play, take it out in a hire car.
That's a good thing. Well. That's a good thing for hire cars. A lot of people travel up and down the coast. I know with us, we travel up and down the coast, and if you're moving into, say, Mackay, Cairns, Townsville, Darwin, whatever, you're picking up a hire car to go and film for the show. So we can still just plug and play by putting it into a cigarette lighter.
Absolutely. We have the UHF 310 plug and play 5-watt CB radio pack. So as I said, it comes with a cigarette lighter power source, suction cup mount like your GPS or your dash cams, and a magnetic-based antenna. So perfect for that application, and perfect for mums and dads that are doing a big trip down to Sydney or Melbourne or up to the north that don't want to install the thing into the vehicle, don't have a bull bar or a nudge bar. So we've got that option as well.
Tell me about the battery sensor, because that's the next thing. Obviously, you're out there, you're playing a radio, you've got whatever else going on. You might have an inverter in the back of your car. You need to monitor your battery power. A lot of people these days are also moving into lithium. Okay, and for me, lithium is great, particularly on boats, if you get it done correctly, not the cheap Chinese models, don't do that. But at the same time, is that a lithium battery is like when you're using a cordless handheld drill, is its power, zzz, and it stops. It just stops, that's it. So you need to monitor the power of your energy source, being the battery. What do you guys offer there?
Yeah, so we have the BSM 888, which is our Bluetooth battery monitor. It's a very simple device, positive, negative onto the battery. You download a free app, and you can do up to 4 batteries on one app. I have 2 batteries in my vehicle and 2 batteries in my boat as well. So I have the BSM 888 on all of my batteries. So when I'm out fishing with my Minn Kota battery, I can monitor how much time I've got left in the vehicle. It monitors my alternator as well, so it gives me a charging status, which can update me if I've been through some creek crossings. There could be a fault with my alternator. Also got the second battery, which runs off my DC to DC. Then I monitor that as well, because it's running my fridge all the time. So it's a nice, quick, easy check. It can give you notifications if there's an alert, which you can set for low voltage or any problems.
And of course, you run into tire pressure monitoring systems as well. I mean, we've got everything covered, so you don't have to get outside your car while you're driving along. You've got communication between people. You're also checking your battery, and you're doing your tyre pressure as well, because if you're off-road, obviously you don't want to run down on one tyre's got 18 PSI and the other one's running at 38 or whatever you
Correct.
might be. So you need to make sure that's beneficial as well. So how does that thing work?
It's very, very simple. So there's 4 wireless monitors that clip onto onto the stem of your vehicle, so where the valve cap is, or you can do internal as well. So if you are even running a road vehicle, just a normal standard mum and dad driving back and forward to school, you want to keep an eye on your tyre temperature. So we do internal sensors as well. The module will sit on the dash. It has a lithium battery, but it's also solar powered. So when it sits on the dash, it's always out in the sunlight. Mine lasts up to 30 days without any sunlight or recharging. It tells you current tyre pressure as well as current tyre temperature as well, which is very, very handy when you're running on the beach or when you've dropped your tyre pressure, to keep an eye on the temperature of it as well. See,
that's pretty cool, because basically your tyres are not cheap. You want a tyre for a four-wheel drive, you're looking at $250, $300 per tyre, depending on what breed or brand you want. But if they're underinflated, they're going to wear up to 45% faster. Okay, so you're going to be doing your dough twice as quick as what you should be. And at the same time, it can improve fuel efficiency. I see a lot of people driving around the streets, and one tyre is just way under, and you're thinking, how the hell, that thing is just going to roll off when you go around a corner. But it doesn't. But at the same time, you really are, costing yourself a few extra bop there, because you're not doing the tyre monitoring properly.
Exactly, and it does reduce the risk, as you said. If you've got a low tyre, you do have that risk of it rolling off the rim or not taking the corner properly. So there's a great applications for that, and it's for me it's an essential part of my touring and full driving and my work time as well. Yeah,
that's it, mate. So between your work time at Oricom and fishing, mate, I know you love to get outside and spend a lot of time around the country, and that's what you do best. Tony, I've got to say thank you very much for your time today, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, okay, because, like I said, you're the worker who goes to work not in the marine industry, so to speak, but you love to fish on your time off. You want to make the most of it, and that's why I asked you earlier about what sort of fishing does Tony Kokolis like to do? What do you like to do as the general bloke that just loves to do what 95% of Australians love to do, and that is wet a line, and how you do it. Absolutely. So, mate, thanks for your tips on that sort of stuff as well, eh?
Anytime, mate. Appreciate it.
Too easy. There you go, everybody. That's Tony Kokolis, the Big T. I'll call him the Big K, because that guy, he has got the heart of an elephant. He's an absolute legend, and anything when it comes to off-road or even just anything, this guy is very knowledgeable, Tony Kokolis. And, of course, that was another Step Outside podcast, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I love sitting down and just chewing the fat with people. You guys sitting back, listening. If you're still listening, that means that we were quite informative. If you tuned out, then you're not listening to this part. And like I say, get out there, wet a line, and may your rods bend often.